Good evening, Stosh fans. Anybody out there? I don't have enough fans that come on to these things, but then again, you're supposed to tell people that they're happening, so what do I expect? Stosh on with you tonight to gab about the recent strike and assassination of General Soleimani. Soleimani of Iran. Is this World War III? I don't know. Let's rap about this. So, this is coming on the heels of probably the most controversial administration since Nixon, and it's actually a lot hotter than that. I think that the Trump thing is actually making Nixon look pretty tame. So the country is, let us not mince words. It's a completely divided country now, 100%. A nightmare of the founding fathers. So there's a lot of pressure on Trump now. Let's just be in general as neutral as I can be on this. Okay, so from the beginning, uh, the DNC, the Democrat Party, has wanted Trump impeached before he got in. Basically, the United States is a sophisticated country. On one hand, I suppose, and cosmopolitan and international, and a guy like Trump is trapped in the 1980s, and in the United States is about, I don't know, revenge for colonization, identity politics, nativist versus new immigrants, and on and on. Very, very controversial. Those type of things are discussed every day. So there's just a lot of people that don't like Trump, don't like his style, don't like his irreverence. And everybody in the Rust Belt loves him. A lot of people voted for him because he wanted to. He was talking peace with Russia, the exact opposite of Russiagate. And you had the Steele dossier, which is bizarre, and the Russiagate, and whatever it was. The opposition is saying he had something, but pretty much Mueller had nothing, and he looked like he didn't even read his report. Some people said, and they were disappointed he had nothing. So it's gone on from that to the Ukraine gate. Now, what does this have to do with the Iran strike? I'm getting to that. Stash is getting to that. He releases the transcript of the call. President Zelensky of Ukraine says there's no pressure, and yet it's so partisan that they moved to impeach the president. Okay, so the argument is he's digging up dirt on Biden's son. Well, Biden's son works with the Burisma oil, and he's paid a lot of money. It doesn't look like he knows anything about it. He was, as far as I know, he was discharged from the military. He's got paternity suits on him. Allegedly kicked out of the military for smoking crack or something. Okay. All right, I've been pro-Trump in some of these comments. I'm sorry. I guess it's biased, but all right. Nevertheless, there's been this thing that he's a puppet for Russia, and the other side has voted for him because of the prospect of some peace with Russia, actually. And Hillary Clinton's no-fly zone, that meant war in Syria with the Russians. I don't know if you know that. And Obama had called to get rid of Bashir Assad. So that looked like war. And incredibly, the DNC that used to be the party for peace was now calling for ousting Assad. Where are the left? Where are the peace lefties? Tulsi Gabbard, calls for dialogue with Assad. She calls for peace. They're calling her a coward and a traitor. Where is the left? So Trump has been talking tough, but he's kind of been avoiding war. Now we come to this situation. There was a strike on an American drone. You didn't go for that, as you might recall. He is called by the left a puppet and a lover of Putin. I don't know. I mean, I've actually heard people on the other side, the anti-Trump side, actually say, I don't think the Russia gate's a really good way to go to get rid of Trump. They want Trump out anyway, but they've actually admitted that the Russia gate thing is not the way to do it. So they go on to Ukraine gate. And now everything's partisan politics. So it's of course the House votes to impeach Trump. So and they're like, oh, we're going on untested ground because the Constitution didn't specify this. No, it's supposed to move on to the Senate for a trial. And now they don't even want to do that. Now, what does this have to do with the Iran strike? I'll get to that. It has everything to do with it because I guess I'm partially going with the partial wag the dog thing, I suppose. But wait a minute. Let me get back. All right. So it's supposed to go to the Senate. So of course the RNC, the GOP, the Republicans, whatever you want to call them, control. So McConnell's like, I'll maybe throw this out. But the speaker, Miss Pelosi, does not even want to really hand it over. That's how much the country's divided. So, I hate how you can't even talk about this bullshit now without, getting into these shouting matches. I mean, what does it become? You state your case, and the other side states their case. And I'm not going to say which one. Both of them, including the pro-Trump and the anti-Trump, are so passionate about their sides now. I don't know if it's got to do with the social media that everybody has a try. Was what I'm doing right now. I'm spewing my stuff, and the other side, and I guess you can not listen to people or whatnot and block them out. I don't know where I went with that, but anyway, it's annoying. The country's overly divided over this. So let's move on. I'll finally get to that Iran thing. So we must not forget that long ago, the CIA, Kermit Roosevelt, they overthrew what you might call the democratically elected government of Iran, Mossadegh. They put the Shah in. The Shah was a man. The people of Iran are proud because they had a revolution. In fact, on NPR today, they were talking about, I forget the gentleman's name, he was kind of a secular Iranian, I think he was an attorney or something. He bridged the gap between the religious people and the left in Iran. They're very proud. This revolution, they throw out the Shah. CIA's man in Iran. They throw him out. So, yeah. Not only that, whether you're willing to admit it or not, at a certain point, the agency, the company, put in Saddam. Saddam was America's strongman there. And it's not something that's much discussed, but there was a push to pit Iran and Iraq against each other. A big war. They butted heads. Big war. A lot of people lost their lives. General Soleimani, as a younger guy, was fighting in that. He was involved. So Trump has thwarted the Vulcans, the war hawks. He ended up fired Bolton, but this Bolton, John Bolton, the war hawk, was keen on eliminating Soleimani. Soleimani? It looks like Trump bought into this one, but there's other factors. From what I can tell, the Hezbollah, which is an Iranian group called the Party of God, was involved in these heated demonstrations in Iran. Hold on a minute. Yeah, I'm back. And so was it looking like another October surprise situation in January for Trump? I don't know. That's quite conspiratorial. Anyway, his supporters are saying Trump isn't going to put up with another Benghazi, sends the Marines in, deals with the violent protest, heats up more, and they notified the larger strike group, 82nd Airborne. Now, General Soleimani is with the Quds group, which is a intelligence group. They are there in Iraq to take advantage of the situation. That being the sectarian conflicts. They would like to see their people more in control. How much of it is that the general wants to take it out on the United States for the previous Iran-Iraq war, uses intelligence skills. He has been accused of being behind the IEDs, and he has been accused of taking out American soldiers. I believe that could be possible. And certainly if that's true, Mr. Trump is justified in eliminating him with the Reaper drone, of which was quite impressive. He was so blown apart, I guess there was nothing left but his ring. A definite show of force. Or is Rand Paul correct and Tulsi Gabbard correct? Has Mr. Trump caved to the neoliberals and neocons and taken the country into war? There's a huge mosque over there, and the red flag of war is flying. So is it a holy war? Or the Persians versus, I don't know, what is America? New Rome? Who knows? We hope not. Trump has got that persona going now of not getting the best of him, that he doesn't fool around. No Benghazis under me. With a little bit of luck, this is just one strike. And it's one and done. But I think there's already been another strike at Iranian forces. Trump, not to be outdone, the Iranians said we have 35 targets. So he says, I've got 52. I've heard, there's a lot of people saying, well, this is Iran's got a lot of warriors, so we got to bring back the draft. At this time, you got to wonder. Well, the reason why I was going through that whole impeachment thing is there a scenario where Trump had to go to the war, wag the dog, type of thing because there's so much pressure on him, or is it just a coincidence? It's really hard to say because I don't think he's behind the demonstrations against the embassy in Baghdad. Anybody out there say something? Hey, Fusion GPS. Where's her 31,000 emails? It's quite a shame if this is that it's come to this, and or that everybody in America now, all the wine moms want to kill Putin or whatever, when he in fact helped the U.S. waste ISIS in Syria. That's the reason why people flip out, or the company. The company being the military. I like to call it that because Captain Willard called it the corporation in Apocalypse Now. General Flynn upset the company when he complained about the funding of the moderate rebels. The moderate rebels would be ISIS. But we said, well, we had to fund ISIS to fight Assad. I also find it wild that the victim of the Parkland shootings, Mr. Hogg, the young kid Hogg, comments on Syria and stuff like that, which is pretty weird because he's unfortunately a victim of a horrible shooting, and now he's become an activist, and now he's an expert on Syria, which I'm certainly not. I'm just observing the fact that I've read everything I could get my hands on it on this stuff, and I'm able to regurgitate some back. So were they going to come up with a lot of other stuff to impeach Trump with? So therefore, he's got to come up with a war. Right out of Shakespeare. You have a lot of trouble, you make a war. I don't know. Because again, certainly Trump wasn't behind the demonstrations in Baghdad. How much does Iran have to do with that? I don't know. Was it a good decision to take the guy out? I believe his trip was known. Now the problem is that what news sources do you look up on this? The Iranians have a thing owned by them called Press TV. I don't think they're much talking about that. And the Russians have a much hated thing called Russia Today. They're kind of covering it. And in the United States, you're going to find that the Fox moves hard right and the CNN moves hard left. So that's the way people feel. It's basically, this country is Rachel Maddow versus Tucker Carlson. And there, as far as I know, that could be some of the pressure on this thing. And if the country's that divided, then each side has to call in their troops, their warriors. In the case of the left, of course, it's the the intellectual class, the creative class, Hollywood, the different communist groups and the different people like that, human rights advocates and so forth, and liberals, versus the Republican reverse one, and one would be the religious people. I don't know how many people are in this country left who are religious. I've heard figures. Well, 63 million people voted for Trump. That comes out a lot, but also I think there's something like 93 evangelical. So that would be a number of a group that could compare to the left. So, and they are religious, so they're not that keen, I suppose. I don't know, if you're an evangelical person or something, give me a shout out here. They don't much care for Iran. It fits into the, they want to protect the Holy Land of Israel and things like that. So they don't care for Iran. And they pretty much have been supportive of Trump. They certainly have been supportive of Mr. Pence. So what's he going to do? This is an indication that all of us just get to talking to one another. I think these social media things have made it worse because you're not facing face to face, and you're not getting any eye contact, and you don't have a discussion. But they're carrying over into real life now, so nobody can have a thing. I know a lot of people are going to watch this and say you're completely for Trump. I'm like, no, not exactly. I am for whatever is for peace, which is what is necessary. Maybe some of the American youths will now get more interested in peace because they're going to the draft website because they're worried. Perhaps they should be. I don't know if they're going to bring back the draft. The way to avoid that is to go for peace. So everybody get peaceful. Don't start, manga guys, don't start punching the liberals in the head, and the reverse. Don't hit the manga people. But I think there's a relatively new book out that says the reality of this empire is reaching its limits. So I don't know. So the leadership is trying to hold on. They're studying the history of Rome and all this stuff. Where's my other two viewers? I had two people in here. Give me a shout. Anybody out there? Yeah, the reason why I kept bringing up that impeachment aspect of it is because, is this a wag the dog thing? Have I said anything anti-American in this? Listen, they did overthrow Mossadegh. Saddam was the man in Iraq. I can remember talking to people who involved in military intelligence in casual conversations that originally it was a bad idea to take out Saddam Hussein. Because he was in Iraq. He was a strong man. And he kept it was either him or complex sectarian warfare, which is what is happening in Iraq now and has been for quite some time. That country is suffering. People will remember Cheney. They will welcome us as liberators. I don't think so. So no matter what you like in politics, left wing or right, you should be aware of who's calling for peace. The war hawks have been giving Trump hell about when he goes anti-war, and you know that's, and they praise him. You know, when he did the strikes on Syria, they called him, that shithead reporter was like, they're like angels from heaven or something and whatnot. And a lot of people after the strike on General Soleimani of the Quds intelligence force are easing up on Trump for this. Why are the youth who are probably left wing worried about the draft? I think they don't like Trump. He's brash, and they find him disgusting. I think Barack Obama was a smoother talker. They were less worried about trouble under him. And he went for an Iran deal and things like that. And yet he bombed 7 countries. And everybody is a huge fan of Bernie Sanders. He has a lot more extensive war record than anybody's talking about. Ask the people of Serbia, Kosovo, Belgrade, whatever, what they think of Bernie Sanders. And there's an article in Counterpunch that indicates really his Iraq war record isn't that great. And he pushes for the F-35 fighter up in Vermont. And he's going to pay for your college. And I'm sure I'll get in deep shit for this. But, you know, yeah, those are just, that's politics. Politics. It's nothing good about politics. One good thing I think about now is the explosive style of Trump is getting people into politics. Let's hope it just doesn't go beyond slogans. I would urge people to talk about politics in a civil way. Get into it. The Patriots lost to the Titans tonight, and I think the Texans won. In the big scheme of things, I don't think that stuff is as important as what's going on over in the Middle East right now, right? Let me know what you think about my thoughts on the drone strike of the general. If anything, I brought up some stuff that people should remember. The Iran-Iraq War, the overthrow of Mossadegh, the installing and destalling of Saddam Hussein, and the removal of Uday and Qusay as well. World War III, I don't know. At this time, I don't think the Chinese and the Russians will get involved, but certainly the Russians have made some good cash for selling some what is supposed to be some incredibly good missile defense system in Iran. So I don't know if we're really going to see a strike in the country of Iran. They've got some pretty good defenses, and that Chinese and Russians may draw the line at that. But we could see some sort of proxy war. So if you get the chance and you're a MAGA or an anti-Trump or a Trump, maybe discuss some peace. Give Trump a reason for some peace so you don't get drafted. And we all don't get wasted. All right, this is Stash. Let me know what you think. I tried hard tonight. That's a half an hour of deep politics. This is Trump. No, this is Stash. I'm not Trump. I'm Stash. This is Stash versus the deep state. This YouTubing is hard. All right. Let me know what you think. Ciao. God bless.